Alright, so we've got a 95 GMC pickup. Customer's complaint, crank, no start. Sometimes the truck will run, shut off going on the road. Sometimes it runs fine. You get somewhere, shut it off, it won't start back. They've replaced fuel pump, uh, rotary button, distributor cap, ignition coil, a few other things. Noticed it did not have spark. Everything looked good besides it did not have spark. The injectors were pulsing on the throttle body, all that good stuff. So after digging into it, we found that our pickup coil in our distributor was bad, which the customer had already bought a distributor but hadn't put it in. So if you'll look right here on this distributor on your truck, she'll look, let's set this bad boy on here, right? On your truck, it's going to look something like this. It's your rotary button. This is going to be your pickup coil right here. This is your plug for it. Get you on the camera. This is your plug, plugs into your module. So we can actually ohm this out. We'll use our little handy dandy pocket knife. Let me move this so I can see what I'm doing. Don't cut my finger off. So you can actually put an LED light in here to these two pins and spin this and it should light. Our truck didn't. I don't have my LED light. The other thing you can do is we'll lay this down right there where y'all can see it. See if I can move y'all just a little bit without breaking everything. We've got a multimeter. We're going to set her to ohms. We're going to look at ohms. I believe the spec on it's going to be 500 to 1500 ohms, and yeah, this is one of those high dollar multimeters. Now we're gonna check it. Funny thing on this multimeter, we've got the small little pins here, that way we don't spread out our clips on our connector. Funny thing about this voltmeter, I've had this joker probably 10-12 years and it just hasn't give up the ghost. Now I've probably got 10 of them, just because I keep leaving them laying around. Got one or two in my truck, one or two in the shop. Let's check it out. So 1 kilo ohm, so we're gonna have 1,000 ohms on that, if I'm looking at that right. So that's gonna be right in the middle of our spec, so that's good. When we checked the pickup coil on the distributor back there in the truck, whoa y'all, I believe it had 3 mega ohms, something crazy like that. So she didn't pass any of the test. But since I've already started telling you about my multimeter here, I was out working on a vehicle somewhere and something happened to my multimeter, I can't remember. So I went and found the cheapest joker I could, and this was the one. Back then I think it was like 15 bucks at Walmart. And it just keeps on keeping on. And I like it because it shuts off. If you haven't used it for so long, it shuts off to save the battery. But you can't break it. You can see all the paint on it from where it's in the house when we was doing construction. And it's been abused, tried to break it pretty much, and it just keeps working, so we keep on using it. Maybe not the most accurate on some things, but as far as just random testing, you can't beat it with these. If I can find them, I'll post a link in the description. But back onto our project, the customer has bought us a distributor before they even brought the truck, so we're just going to pop the whole distributor in there instead of taking it apart trying to replace that pickup coil. Things to note before we get into it: the distributor's going to be sitting like this. You're going to have a crow's foot holding it down to the intake. You'll have a bolt right here. I don't remember the exact size of the bolt. On the older ones it was a 9/16 or 15. And I have got a special wrench for the old school 350s. I don't remember if it works on these or not. Now, something to keep in mind, you will have this little seal right here that seals this off from the intake. On the bottom of your distributor, you got that shaft, and that actually fits into your oil pump, or your oil pump shaft, and this is what turns your oil pump. So if you're dropping this distributor in and you can't get it to go all the way down, it keeps stopping, double check, look down in your hole, make sure that this is going to be in the same direction as your oil pump shaft. If not, get you a long screwdriver, stick down in your intake hole, and turn your oil pump shaft to line it up. Another thing to keep in mind, since these gears are angled like that, when you're setting this when you're setting this distributor down in the intake into your engine, it's going to want to turn as it goes down. So we're actually going to clock it a little bit further back than we want it. That way when it goes down in there, she's sitting perfect. Now to do this, the first step is going to be to get our engine top dead center on the compression stroke. And to do that, I want to say, I'll double check it before we get started. We're going to turn our crank and we're going to watch our harmonic bouncer. There should be a line on it, an indicator on the harmonic bouncer, and we're going to line it up to the 0 on the timing mark. With the 0 lined up on the timing mark, you're going to want your rotary button. You're going to want your little button right here pointing at your number 1 spark plug wire on your distributor in your engine. So, for example, this is number 1. We're going to line our crank up with the line on the 0 on the timing mark. Then you're going to pop your cap off and you're going to want your rotary button sitting pointing right at this one. If not, go 180 degrees and double check. I'm pretty sure that gets us top dead center like we're wanting to be. I'll double check it. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Just want to give y'all a few tips before we get started in here. It should be pretty simple. Unplug the plugs on your distributor, take one bolt out, make sure everything's top dead center. We're going to pop that bad boy out, pop the new one in, and go from there and see if we can't fix it. Alright, so see if I can get y'all a view. You can see that white mark down there. Then there's your timing bracket. Boy, it's a bad camera angle. Anyways, you have a slot on your harmonic bouncer, and I've put a white paint line on it. Here's my fancy distributor wrench we're going to attempt to use. So we've got our timing mark lined up down there, and you can see that button is pointed towards cylinder 1, which is the factory location. And in all reality, you can drop this distributor in anywhere you want to as long as you run the wires properly, but it can mess up hooking your distributor up and everything else. So we're not going to get into that. Just try to do it like factory. So we're probably going to pop our ignition coil out of the way just to give us a little bit more room to work with. I'll get this camera set up so it's not shaking, and let's see if we can't get this thing pulled out. Alright, so let's see if I can get y'all in here without messing everything up. Move our little wrench out of the way. It's kind of a bad place to be trying to put a camera. Oh, let's see if we can make it work. So we're going to remove our ignition coil right here, and I think we want that socket. I think it's gonna be 13s, 2 13s, not 100%. Let's see if we can get this socket out of the frame. Yeah. I believe it is. Way right here for just a second. Set that one out. Now we should be able to get a ratchet loose or a socket loose. Just be able to pick this cool up and lay it over out of the way. Plug the wire pad. Make sure you don't lose your bolts. Now, I've already taken with compressed air and blown this area out. You don't want any debris down here when you get ready to pull that distributor. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's see what our little wrench out here. I can't remember if I used it on this style truck or not. We'll give it a shot.
not quite enough room. So what we'll do is, keep me from getting in his way, we're gonna grab a crow's foot and we'll use that instead. A crow's foot and an extension. Be right back. Alright, so we've got our crow's foot and our extension. If I can climb back up in here. So we just got a little crow's foot, a 14mm crow's foot with an extension. I have to get y'all's way for just a second. We'll set that on our distributor clamp. We're going to put our ratchet on there. Let's see if we can break this loose without pulling. So here's our clamp with our bolt that holds the distributor down. So now that that's out, we should be able to pick this distributor up out of here. We've already got it unplugged from where we was checking it the other day. Of course, your air breather and everything's off. What we'll do is we'll lift up on it while kind of wiggling it a little bit. See if we can't. See if we can get it pulling up out of there. There she is. Make sure our seal stayed on the distributor and is not laying on the intake. And she's out of there. Now it's time to put the new one in. Alright, so we're going to try to place this one back just like the other one was. So she was hot a little bit. Sort of like that. Now, the distributor's going to spin when we do drop it. So, like that. There. It's hard to tell, but I feel like it's probably a tooth off. So what we'll do is we'll just pick it back up, and you don't really even have to. You don't even really have to. You could have just left it be. Yeah, that looks better. We'll see what happens if we pick her up one more time. Nope. So we're gonna leave her. We're gonna leave her just like that. Because with it seating all the way down, I feel like it should be over just a hair bit more, but it's not going to matter. But with it seating all the way down on the intake, that means that our oil pump shaft is lined up with the distributor, so she's sitting nice and flush. And if you've got that post, there's no reason to go trying to move it with a screwdriver and starting that battle. But anyways, now that we've got it set back down in there, we will put our little clamp. We'll put this bad boy back on our distributor, and we're going to snug it up enough to where we can barely move that distributor by hand. That way when we get everything back together, we can come in and time it. Alright, so now that we've got our clamp back on there and we can pretty snug. We can barely move the distributor by hand. We're going to put our ignition coil back on, and we're going to hook all of our wires back up, and then we'll get into doing the timing on this bad boy. Out of the way. Now we will hook our coil back up to the back of our distributor. Now we'll put our distributor cap back on. And when we set our distributor cap, we're going to want to twist it to where the button is lining up with the number 1 spot. So let me grab that. And we're going to set this bad boy down on there and check. So our button is pointing right to the left side of the coil. And you can see with it sitting in place, it's lining straight up with the coil. So we're going to twist the distributor cap right there to the left side of that coil, and that should have us pretty well lined up. Alright, so if I haven't led y'all astray yet, we will tighten up our screws, put our plug wires back on, make sure you use the correct firing order. It's actually back on the back of the intake. Let's see. Usually on the back. No, it's right on my back. 1843657 2. So you'll do that. You'll start right here with number 1. Follow your firing order. Put all your plug wires back on. Then we'll go on from there. So we've got our plug wires back on, all that good stuff. Now, never trust somebody else's markings on the plug wires. I thought they had them marked for the cylinder numbers. That's typically how I do it. But they had them marked in order. After double checking, they did have the order correct though. So when they was taking and messing with the distributor wires, plug wires, they had them marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the order they went, not by cylinder numbers. So anyways, now that we've got that, probably just going to give it a test fire and make sure she does fire up and run like she's supposed to. And once we verify that, hey, it will run, we will go into how to properly adjust the timing. We'll move that out of the way, and hopefully everything has been done right. Alright, so I guess we're doing halfway okay so far. So what we're going to do, I'm going to move this camera and get you a little bit better angle. We're going to get a timing light out, and I'm going to show you there's a wire you've got to disconnect to set base timing on these engines. 95 to 98-ish throttle body styles. I believe they're behind the glove box. On the older ones, they're out here in the engine bay. I can't remember if they're right behind the distributor or on the firewall. But either way, quick Google search should turn that up for you if you're needing it. I'm going to show y'all where the one on this truck is. So let's get to it. Without showing y'all everybody's information, you're going to have these tabs right here on the side. You're going to pull the box in, and then it'll come out and do the same thing for the other side. Alright, so we got the glove box pulled down, and you can barely see that wire on the right side of that loom. I think it's a tan and a black. It's got tape around it. Right down there where it goes in the tape, we're actually going to cut that up, cut it open, and there should be a connector there. So I'll probably close this glove box back and just do that from underneath. I think I can get y'all a little bit better shot going from underneath it. Alright, so I lied. I just did it from the top side. There's your connector. We're going to unplug that. It should just have one little tab on the side of it. We'll unplug that, and that will allow us to set our timing the proper way. Alright, so with the wire unplugged, I'm not going to be able to put you on a tripod for this. We got our timing light. So you're going to hook your power and your ground to your battery, and then hook your little clamp right here. Just a little clamp. Slide it over your cylinder number 1 spark plug wire. Then we're going to start the engine, and we're going to look down in there towards our timing bracket and shine our timing light, and we're going for 0 degrees. So let me get it started. It's going to be a little bit noisy, but y'all better see what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's point our timing light at it. It's hard to tell with the camera. Let me shut the truck off. Alright, so that's it. She's dead on time. I know you couldn't tell it from the video probably, but it's spot on. We don't have to adjust the distributor, so we will tighten our bolt back up. We're gonna hook our wire back up on our glove box, set the glove box back in the way it's supposed to go. Just double check everything we've touched, put our breather hoses and stuff back on, our air filter, and this one should be ready to roll out the door. Hopefully this helped. If it did, let me know. If it didn't, let me know. Hit the subscribe button if it was useful. I could use all the comments and subscriptions I can get right now. I need information and feedback, y'all. If you don't like it, let me know. If you like it, let me know. Hopefully you made it this far. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I appreciate your time. If I missed something or you do something different, post it down in the comments. Oh, the distributor bolt, if I'm not mistaken, that's supposed to be tightened to 20 foot-pounds, 20-inch pounds. Don't take me on that. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the description. But anyways, appreciate y'all. Hope you enjoy the next video too.